What's happening, guys? Chris VA Travels. Today visiting Prestwood Plantation, a historic home down here in Mecklenburg County, just a little outside of Clarksville. And before I get going, just want to give a quick shout out to Nurse Jane, new Patreon subscriber. I appreciate your support and I always enjoy reading your comments. Here are the hours: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 12:30 until 3, Sunday, 1:30 until 3:30. And it's $10 for adults, $8 for seniors, $4 for children. Cool. And you'll see the long stone fence, so quite an entrance if you were coming up on horse and buggy. And actually the road coming off the right, the main road that came off 15, the same stone wall stretched probably almost a mile. Cool. All right, nice little gate entrance, plenty of dependencies. Here it is. As I walk up, I'll tell you we're sitting on 46 acres. William Byrd obtained the land here in 1730, and William Byrd, he was the founder of Richmond and Petersburg. Also surveyed the border between North Carolina and Virginia. Also one of the founders of the Germanic colony. Anyway, the residence he lived at here was called Bluestone Castle, and the property extended 10 miles along the Roanoke River. Once it fell into the hands of Sir Peyton Skipwith, he built the Prestwood Mansion, again named after their ancestral town over there in England. First off, I'll tell you this thing was completed right around 1795. And first thing that stands out maybe would be that hipped roof, a couple internal chimneys, or actually this wide gabled porch. We've got the modillions going all around, pretty wide staircase. Some thin Doric columns holding it up. And a stone building, that's kind of unique. And I'm sure the stone came off the Roanoke River, which is about a mile away. And I'll also tell you that we're just off the John Kerr Reservoir. I believe it's going to be behind the building. And it was created when they built a dam. The Army Corps of Engineers built a dam in 1950. Yeah, so, and you'll see the wavy glass windows. Looks like 18 panes on those things. And yeah, I just took the tour of the inside. There's no filming inside. So I'll try and find some pictures online, stick those in there. But yeah, it's a great tour, great furniture in there. A unique Spanish brown. All the doors on the inside and the trim is painted in a Spanish brown. And you'll see kind of a faux grain door. I guess I can walk up here. Yeah. And the doors on the inside are the same way. And that kind of gold trim is to mimic an inlay. So it looks like we've got kind of a squared shaped building. And with an even bigger pediment over here. Yeah. Another wide stairway. Again, dental molding under the cornice. Down in the basement, they've got a bunch of Native American artifacts. Okay, it's got the shutters closed up right there. Down below also, I was wondering if there was going to be another porch around back. Big old magnolia right here. And is there a cemetery back there, or are they just pillars maybe? I'll walk down there. Maybe that takes you down to that reservoir. Yeah, just a big 7-bay home. Yeah, the back looks pretty much just like the front, and there is no portico on this right-hand side. I'll tell you, the house was built for Sir Peyton Skipwith. He's the 7th Baronet Skipwith. And he had moved his family here from Elm Hill Plantation. That's in Bakersville here in Mecklenburg County. And the Skipwiths, they were Cavaliers from England. They actually came from the hamlet of Prestwood. That was in Charnwood. That's a district in Lancashire. Okay guys, these are some photos I found online of the inside. This would be the library, housing a lot of Gene Skipwith's books. And you'll see that Spanish brown paint I was talking about on the doors and fireplace. You'll see these hand-painted murals on the walls. I can't tell where that's at, maybe Italy. But I remember this was really popular down at Natchez, Mississippi, at a lot of the plantation homes I visited down there. Here's something else you would see in the plantation homes further down south. I remember they called this thing a shoe fly. Big fan above the dining room table that would shoo the flies away. And yeah, this thing still works. Again, you'll see that Spanish brown. It's all throughout the house. And oddly enough, this bed is actually in the parlor. Kind of strange. More landscapes painted on the walls. And I bet that might be faux marble painted on the stairs there, I bet. You'll see the bowl here on the left on the table, and they actually used that for baptisms at one point. All right, made it up to the second floor. You'll see there are a lot of bedrooms, and there are currently a lot more furnishings in the hallway here. Inside one of the bedrooms, and you see they would have a canopy on this thing as well, and a couple of really old trunks. Okay, one more bedroom, and you'll see a pretty solid frame on that bed, and it looks like a pretty nice day bed in front of that chiffero. All right, real quick, let me walk back and just see what's down here, see what these two pillars are. I'm assuming a path going down, like I say, to the reservoir. And while I walk down there, yeah, that stone wall going all around. Oh, yeah, an interesting note that the docent had said when I was taking the tour, that during the English Civil War, when Oliver Cromwell was coming back from Scotland, coming through northern England, he stopped in Lancashire, stayed with the Skipwiths for 7 days. And after that, Cromwell gave them the title Baronet. And it's the lowest of the royal titles. And that was shortly before, I guess it would have been Charles II somehow that would had to have granted them the land out here. But yeah, they were one of the Cavaliers that came over after the English Civil War, and they first settled in the Northern Neck. I'll tell you that. And then after a few generations, they made their way down here. So yeah, so maybe this was terraced way back when, that went down to, well, obviously the reservoir wasn't there back then. I don't know, but you'll just see a little gate right here, and I can't see any water down there, but you can tell that's all aftergrowth. There are no real, couple decent sized trees, but no real thick trees. And on this side, we've got a small little cellar door. All right. Right here, this is the foundation of a conservatory, probably unheated and was glazed only on the south side. What does that mean? Was probably unheated and was glazed only on the south side. Oh, okay, I thought they meant south side Virginia, but they meant the south side of the conservatory. All right, Lady Skipwith experimented with many tender plants that were wintered over here. Okay, so used to have a conservatory right there. Let me walk over and take a look at some of these dependencies. Looks like these are all wood frame buildings, but we've got a little decorative grist millstone over here. You'll see the bell right there. And all right, so this is the kitchen. I'm sorry. It's not an office. It kind of doesn't look like a kitchen, but I'm sure it's changed its appearance over the decades. But yeah, it makes sense being close to the house. So I'm wondering if originally, well, no, that's a reservoir down there. If the front of the house was on that side, it's just odd that you would have a kitchen in the front yard like that. So I don't know if the other side maybe originally was the front of the house. All right, so over here we've got an oak. It looks like this is a white oak, judging by the lobes on these leaves. And kind of the lighter color a little bit. They're starting to turn anyway. And we've got the loom house right here. You'll see the center chimney right there. And they probably just use this for storage. I see a kind of a chair and some stuff. There's probably nothing really. Take a look through the side light. Oh yeah, it's just storage. But yeah, would have done your sewing in here. And yeah, this plantation would have had to have been a one-stop shop, a little town, because we're in the middle of nowhere. Stone foundation again. Whoa. Another really old tree. Kind of a mossed over cedar, it looks like. I'll look at the back of it. There's just storage. Just see some wood boards down there. There's no reason to look in there. And what's this stone building over here? This is a really hilly area. Wow. Some pretty big stones. And just kind of a trough in there, it looks like. Did the sign used to say something? But, all right, let's go up here. And what's going on in here? What the heck these things are? If anybody knows, put it down in the comments. But it looks like a haven for wasps. All along the ceiling, you see wasp nests. Yeah, the brochure they gave me doesn't only had the names for the loom and the office. Wow, remains of something right here. It looks like there's a sign on this one. So I bet that was a sign that was on the ground back there. I didn't want to touch it though. Wow, all right, let me see what this was first of all. Back there might have been a slave cabin, I bet. Smokehouse. Yeah, interesting how all stone buildings. And this thing's kind of been eaten by these vines. Yeah, that thing's totally crumbled. Yeah, so this was quite a complex. Oh, all right, so a walnut tree. There it is right here. Yeah, pretty good variety of trees. And let's see what this stone building is. Got it locked up. No smoking beyond this point. So we must have the wooden buildings starting back here. So it used to have a gate right there. And Plantation store. It looks like you can go inside. All right, cool. And what are local from the area? Come here to buy goods. Stone, kind of a fat stone chimney on the right hand side, but cool. All right, well, all right. And I'm wondering if the enslaved, a lot of times, slept up in these lofts. There's nothing to see up here. Some cobbler tools. Like I say, you'd have to do it all here. That's quite a jug right there. Yeah, I see a dispenser. Got your herbs. Cotton over here. And they do grow cotton in this part of the state a little bit. Was that a gourd at one time? What is this? You'd crank it to do something. Churn something in there. And I see a dispenser down there. Neat little stool right there. Hardware, cutlery, guns, is that what it says? But nails, gloves, padlocks. Is there a, 1936, November 3rd, 1936. Virginia Public Service. Again, I believe that's 1930, yeah, June 1936. Okay. Blackstone, Virginia. April 21st, 1936. Some coffee. Dixie House coffee. More cotton over here, tobacco. And I believe they would call those hands, each of those. All right, let me walk through this small door. Yeah, you would think one of the enslaved, again, most likely would have been, would have stayed in here. There's a little washstand. So looks like a side door for whoever lived here, whether it was one of the slaves or whoever worked in the store. And obviously rope bed. Okay. And there are a couple more buildings back there. I'll also tell you that we're in the part of Virginia that they call the South Side, kind of the south central part of Virginia. To me, one of the most country or remote parts of Virginia, I guess if you're outside of maybe the mountains, but you're kind of in between the interstates 81 and 95 where there's not too much going on. All right, they've got the top covered up, but you would obviously have a little stoop right there, little porch coming down. Would this maybe have been an ice house possibly? They would have, yeah, stored the ice down below, good chance. And what's going on right here? No need to walk down in there, but possibly this was the ice house. See what this write-up says. So obviously I'm sure this was a garden. You see some pillars over there. Flowers and herbs were once grown in the section of the garden. The divided beds provided a means for separating the various varieties. So they would have had a popping garden right here at one time. And quite a grounds. Yeah, these pillars right here
Oh, there's a bench kind of hidden back there. But let me walk over there and just see what's in there. Oh yeah, big old pecan tree right here. And this is a pretty big one, pretty old one. And are those just really, really overgrown boxwoods? Looks like a cemetery over here, family cemetery. Let me see if there's some Skipwiths buried in here. Humberton Skipwith. That's not a name you hear every day. Oh, is this? Yeah, it's a child's grave. Son of Fulwar, Fulwar, and Annie. Wow. Okay, so born 1863, died 1866. That's pretty sad. Crack going through this one, but Humberton Skipwith, 1791. Wow. Okay. So that was obviously most likely Peyton's son. Okay, so made it into the 1860s, so about 70 some years old. Oh, another Humberton. That one's 1836, so I guess Humberton the second maybe. Okay, wife of Fulwar Skipwith. Okay, so I guess they had the child that died, maybe it looks like. Oh yeah, nice crest right here. Okay, Sir Peyton Skipwith, born 1740. So kind of the patriarch of the home, I guess. There's the regal lion. Is that a greyhound? I don't know what that is, but pretty neat crest.
Here's a photo I found online of Lady Jean Skipwith, wife of Sir Peyton Skipwith, builder of the house. I'll tell you that they had 4 children together. All were born when she was in her 40s, which is pretty much unheard of at the time. And she is his second wife. He was originally married to her older sister, Anne. And interesting note, I wanted to tell you, if anybody's familiar with the famous ghost story out of colonial Williamsburg, The Tale of Lady Skipwith, it's based on her sister Anne, who I just mentioned was Peyton's first wife. The story goes that one night while attending a ball at the Wythe House, Anne ran outside in a fit of rage, jealousy, and despair and committed suicide. And it's speculated it was because of Jean. There was a rumor going around that she and Peyton had started having an affair. But yeah, of course, this story isn't true. In reality, Anne had died while giving birth to their 4th child. And also, Jean and Peyton hadn't gotten married until 9 years after Anne had died, where it's possible they were having an affair, but most likely at that time they had just known each other as in-laws. Some more notes on Jean. She was one of Virginia's most prominent female book collectors. Yeah, she had one of the largest personal libraries in the state, some of which can be seen if you take the tour of the inside. Also, she was an avid piano and harpsichord player. And then finally, she lived in Scotland from the age of 12 until 38. Here's a quick picture of Sarah Skipwith, daughter-in-law to Peyton and Jean, and she's married to Humberton.
All right, so right here we've got descendants of Austin Ladyard and Mary Field Skipwith, the last of the Skipwith line to own and live at Prestwood. All right, so Jean Skipwith. Oh, that's Jean Skipwith Gordon. But yeah, you can pause if you want to read all the names. Okay, pretty neat. Small little cemetery. You got some thorns over here. Yeah, again, stone wall going all around. And we have a little path cutting through here. Cool. And I have to say, this is my first time in Mecklenburg County. Wish I had more time. I'd take a walk around Clarksville. Check out this oak. Didn't even notice it when I was by that, what I think is the ice house. But yeah, this thing has definitely got some age to it. Wow. It's a pretty impressive tree. And a witness tree, I don't know how far it goes back. All right, yeah, I thought these were fig leaves. Yeah, fig that's kind of falling out of bloom over here. And this knobby thing over here, this would be a paper mulberry. Things on the ground. There's that magnolia again. All right, this is a slave house. I'll get it before you get to it. All right, they're closing up, but this is the slave house back here. And just wanted to get it before they close it. You've got sheeter signals. I'll run in here real quick. Well, there's not gonna be much in here, but a real small stone chimney. Ha! All right, there's nothing over there. Okay, I got you. All right, so duplex, you got the center chimney. All right, I think that's the last building on the grounds. He's closing up, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Oh, check out all those vines over there. Again, you can tell that's all aftergrowth. Okay, the back of the smokehouse that's fallen down over there. All right, on the way back to my car, looks like this is the foundation of something at one time. Maybe, or these are just stones, I can't really tell. It looks like that's a flat surface. But there's a couple dilapidated buildings back there. Let me walk down real quick, take a look at them. Yeah. And yeah, they're actually really dilapidated, but I'll take a real quick peek. Yeah, I don't know what these would be. Corn crib, maybe? Hard to say, but kind of big to be a corn crib, who knows? But just used for storage right now. Part of the roof came down over here, but yeah, hard to say what these would have been. Anyway, yeah, I just want to take a quick look at these buildings. And you see they got the tops ventilated, so I don't know what was going on. All right, guys, that's it for Prestwood. Great place to visit. If you ever find yourself out in this part of the state, I'm not sure you'd be out here too often, but if you are, definitely stop by. Again, a lot of great items on the inside. And yeah, I'm gonna hit the road, so I'll see you guys on the next one.